is who we are. You know it. It's your time to blow it. Yeah. Stay devoted. And this is how we show it. I can do all things. Some way, somehow. I can do all things. Yeah, we gon' work it out. I can do all things. Please, put your hands up right now. I can do all things. Hey, it's time to show out. I can do all things. And with my mouth I call things. Having answers on all rings. Crown full of dawn, still called king. I can't walk it through the pouring rain. Chasing purpose, I call fame. When you pass test and endure flame. Promotion now is a short. Guys, look around. Where are we at? That's right. We're in a garden. This might just be a garden to you, but this beautiful garden right here, it saved my marriage. That's right. A couple years ago, I had financial pressure, relationship strife. I had intimacy issues that was killing my relationship daily. Me and my wife would come to this very garden right here. Daily, we would take the time and meditate and seek out everything that we needed. We learned the lessons of the garden that helped us grow into the couple that we are today. We owe a lot to this garden.
So are you ready? Are you ready to have the relationship that you are meant to be healthy, happy, and have fun this summer? Then join us. We've created a 6-week course to help you become unstuck, restore intimacy, and get back on track to become the destiny partners you were always meant to be.
Also, we're going to teach you how to communicate without using bad words. We're going to help you get rid of those senseless arguments that are destroying your relationship and toxic day after day.
Trust us. You want to give yourself the gift of a peaceful home this summer.
What are you waiting for? Register your marriage today, and we'll see you soon. Hey family, how y'all doing today?
Hey everybody.
It's your boy, Coach Daryl J, and my beautiful wife,
Dr. CJ. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's actually been about 2 years, but season 3 is finally here.
all about the love story, y'all.
Yes, season 3 is the season of the love story, and everyone that comes on is going to be telling their love story.
Yep.
Daryl and I are going to be retelling our love story,
Yes.
and we also want to hear from you.
I want to hear these stories. Well, you know when it catches every Thursday
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
at 10, y'all. But tonight we have a great couple. We got the champions coming through.
We have Delnita and Champion Smith. Very excited to hear their love story and how their love story crossed paths with ours and is going to ignite at the Lead with Love conference this summer in Nashville.
Their last name is Champions. Listen, that's going to be July 18th through the 20th. Nashville, Tennessee, we coming, y'all.
We are coming and we want you to be with us. Listen, we want to remind you that All Things Well is a show about relationships where everything in your relationship is well. Spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, all things well. And we have a scripture that backs that up. Does anybody remember that?
The scripture, as always, my beautiful wife is going to read 3 John 1:2.
3 John 1:2, the CEB version says this: Dear friend, I'm praying that all is well with you and that you enjoy good health in the same way that you prosper spiritually.
Listen, y'all, I want to unpack that, but I'm not, because we got some guests coming. But just think about that. I'm praying, which means I'm hoping and believing. I'm praying. I'm taking the action of requesting from God that you
that all is well with you, all well areas, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, financially, romantically, physically, romantically well, and that you are in good health, that your marriage is also in good health, and that same way, the same way, not different, not at odds, in the same way, working together, that you prosper spiritually. All right.
So, with that being said, I would love to introduce Champion and Delnita Smith. They are the founders of the Leading with Love ministry and movement. And we are so excited to hear their love story and to learn more about leading with love. Without further ado,
The Smiths, y'all. What's up, family?
What's going on?
There it is. Good to see you guys. Good to hear you guys. Y'all sound good. You look good. How's everything going in Nashville?
Thank you.
It is going good in Nashville. It's hot today.
Hot in Atlanta too.
Hot.
Churchy.
Huh?
Churchy.
What is churchy?
Churchy is a different type of heart. It's just a different type of heart when you got that churchy.
Okay.
It's that churchy, man. It's that different type of heat, y'all. It's 90 degrees in the heat.
Yeah.
It's called churchy.
Oh, Lord.
It's called churchy.
I told
Because
you.
it's too hot. It's churchy, I'm telling you. Sunday is the hottest day. Sunday is the hottest day of the year.
Of the week.
Of the week.
Yes.
Right.
Sunday is the hottest day of the week.
Yes. I told y'all when you got here,
when I
y'all will
think-
be laughing and cutting up. This is what it is.
You know what? When I think of church, when you say churchy, I think of back in the day when them churches didn't have air conditioning. They had the fan and them wooden seats.
And them hard floors, and one way in and one way out.
There you go.
And we still praise them, we still shout, and we still dance, and we still serve.
I'm getting high talking about church heat. Hold on.
Right. That's hilarious. Too good. Too good.
Well, I want to say thank you guys for joining us. All things well. This is our third season. And like I said, this is the season of the love story. Now, I did say at the beginning your last name was Champion, so I do apologize for that. It's the Smith Shop.
Hey, good job.
I love
You
the
talk
name
that. Good job. Good job.
It's all right.
Yes, but wait till we hear their story. They may be the champions. We don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's a part of their story. Let's see.
Without further ado, we're going to get into our questions. We want to talk to you guys about your love story. So here you go. You see it right there. Question 1. We want to know your love story. How did God bring you two together?
Let's see. It started on the football field, actually, because we have a blended family of 8. I know we have a mini tribe, but it may be a whole tribe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
A blended family of 8, but it started on the football field. And so Champion was the junior peewee football coach for my son, my oldest, when he was like 5 years old, right? I think like 5 years old. And so that's how we met. You know, I thought he was cute. And
Now, she was looking at them legs, man. That's what it was.
well, they did.
Okay.
Now, did you holler at Champion or did Champion holler at you?
I think we kind of hollered at each
was
other.
more mutual.
Yeah, because we just kind of,
We
would
giving
chat.
each other the eye and stuff like
The
that.
eye. Okay.
Yeah.
What's
Give it
one
to
smooth word that Champion said to you when he was hollering?
What was a smooth word?
One smooth word.
You know what? I don't know.
I think only thing I do remember one day she asked me that I want some spaghetti.
Did I ask you for spaghetti?
I think you did.
Did I bring y'all?
I think she brought me something to eat one day. You know. So, I said, yeah, of course. So, I do remember that. But other than that, I don't think I had any like no lines or nothing like that.
I think it was just a mutual conversation.
It was just a mutual conversation, where, hey, we talked and things of that nature, and stuff like that. So, it wasn't nothing like,
Yeah, I know there wasn't a smooth line because he is not that smooth talking kind of person. He's
Okay.
very like his yes is yes and his no is no, and he has like a strong no. And I it's like he is, as he says, I don't really sugarcoat stuff. I'm like, no, he is not a sugarcoater. But I feel like to go more in depth with the question of how God brought us together, I feel like I think when God really, really just impressed upon my heart and gave me like a strong desire for like him to be well, for his life to be well, and for him to come closer to God and to know him, I knew that God was bringing us together and that he had a plan for our lives as one. So I believe that's how God brought us together.
Yeah. And I know for me, it was, it was just a lot of things that was going on in my life, as a person. But one thing I do know is that I was tired of going through some of the stuff that I was going through, and I was just fed up with it. So I said to myself, hey, it's time for me to just settle myself down, and just focus on me. And I know one of the things I feel like the Lord knew what my heart was. He knew that I needed someone that was going to guide me to him and show me the way. And I believe he brought me my beautiful wife. And he said, hey, I got someone for you. He said, I'm going to bring Miss Delnita to your life. And she's going to show you. She's going to take you around. She's going to take you to this church. We have a beautiful church home. And I think that was the beginning, because that was the one thing that I felt like the Lord knew where my heart was. And the Lord know your heart. He know what you want. So the thing is, he knew what I needed. So, and I
What you
believe
needed. There you go.
Huh?
He knew what you needed. He met your needs.
He met my needs. He definitely met my needs, man. And I just felt like that was just one of the things that was a turnaround in my life, as far as because I felt like he wanted me to build a relationship with him so I can lead other people to him.
Yeah, agreed.
Is it safe to say that Delnita was an answer to a prayer? Even like an inner prayer that you may not have intentionally prayed, but there was like an
Right,
inner desire
Yeah.
in your heart.
right. Yeah, exactly. Because I wasn't saved then, you know.
Oh, okay.
But the thing was, the Lord knew who I was. So
Mm-hmm.
that was that. He didn't give up on me. So he just gave me the vision as I grew and learned more about him. It just made things so much better and easier that brought me to my wife.
Is it safe to say Delnita fell in love with a thug? Is it safe to say that?
No, no, and you know what's funny? He actually was not a thug. Like he
I was never a thug, man. I was just one of those people, man, that was just, I stayed to myself.
Yeah.
I was doing a lot of sinful things,
right.
but the Lord knew that I was going to come out of that. He knew that.
So what God showed me, what attracted me to him was his character. He's always been a good person. He's always wanted well for others and would do whatever he could for his children, like he would sacrifice. So God showed me his heart. And the missing piece was his relationship with Christ. And I knew that he had to move from this good person into a godly man. Because you can do good, you can have godly character or attributes, but if you're not walking with Christ, that's like the major missing piece. And so, God just showed me who he was as a person. So I knew that what he was looking for was that missing piece.
And that's it. And what's so amazing about that is that it's like the Lord knew that she was going to take a chance on me. because I already brought in a village of kids. So, it was like the Lord knew that she was meant for me, and that she would be able to withstand some of, just withstand some of the things that we've been through in our marriage, and that we was going to fight through it.
I feel like Delnita missed one thing before we move on. He's chocolate too.
Now, he mentioned the legs earlier, so it was like chocolate legs.
I forgot to.
And then the chocolate ball, and I called him my chocolate ball guy. Then the chocolate ball man, you know what I mean?
God is good. He gives good gifts. The chocolate saves you. You might have been able to get a light skinned brother with all them struggles. No, I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you.
Right.
Clearly, Team Chocolate over here.
Right.
Okay. I have question number 2. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing with us how God brought you together. But has God revealed to you why he brought you together? Can you tell us separately and together why God brought Champion and Delnita together?
Or why you believe God did?
Yes.
Right. So you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You can go ahead and go.
So I believe God brought us together for one another, like for the things in my life that needed to be changed. And like in the beginning, he felt like, or people would make him to feel like he didn't have anything to offer. But what he offered me was, what he did bring to the table was balance. It was grace. It was so many things that we couldn't share with people on the outside looking in, because what you saw initially was a couple coming together. I had one kid. He had, what was it, 4, right? 4. And, they may have felt like this was something that I should not have done, because they felt like I may have had more offer than him. But he had way more to offer, than people realized. And it changed my life for the better, because it made me more attentive to boundaries. He helped me with boundaries. He helped me with that. I told you he has that strong no, because he's not a sugarcoater. So like all of those elements that I needed, God knew needed to come through him. And so I feel like that's one of the reasons, was to help me as a person. The other reason I feel like is for our children, for his children and for mine, because I was a single parent. And yes, my son's father, was pretty active in his life. However, it was he and I at home, and he needed a father who was going to be there for him on a consistent basis, who would encourage him, who would, be at his games with him, take him to the things that he needed a father for, and the things that I couldn't teach him. I believe that's why God put him in my life.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think for me, I think the Lord brought us together is, I know for one, I think to help me. And it's like you said before, the balance. I needed some balance in my life too, as far as, just being able to be, I don't know, I guess being just I always say she makes the whole house soft, the whole house soft. So I'm a little soft. I'm not as mean as I used to be, I feel like. But the thing is, I just feel like we work together. I think the Lord just know that we will be able to work together much better as a couple. I'm gonna tell you this story. I know it was when we met. I had a son that was born in 2001, and he was like, I think 4 or 5 or something like that. And I was trying to get custody of him, and I worked at night shift. I had a court date to try to get custody of him. Well, of course, I overslept, missed my court date. This is before me and her got married. when I look back on that, the Lord was telling me I wasn't ready. I needed a wife to help you. So I think a year went by, something like that. And once we got married, I say months later or whatever, I don't know the exact dates how all of it fell in place, but I just know when we got married, believe it or not, I got a phone call saying, "Hey, you can have your son." And I said, "What?" I said, "Yes, I would definitely." She said, "All you got to do is go down there and pay for it. You can have him." And I went down to the courthouse. I paid for the fees or whatever I needed to pay for, and everything else speaks for itself. I ended up getting custody of my son. So that tells me that the Lord was watching me, and He knew what I needed. He knew that I needed a wife in order to be able to help with my son and stuff like that. And I never forget that. And that right there told me, that God was real. Like I say, I wasn't like saved. I was freshly saved after we got married. But I was like, man, this is real. He for real. And I just feel like that was one of the things that kind of like brought us. I felt like it kind of brought us together because we could feed off each other. We can help one another. He felt like that we can do things for each other that can help other people, and tell our story, And I'm very grateful as far as what the Lord has done for us.
Yeah. And I think collectively, I think as a couple, I believe God brought us together to show people that it could be done, that
Yes.
love and respect could exist in a marriage, and that a blended family could thrive and could walk in love, and the children could love one another and love and respect us as their parents, but also their biological parents, because we've always taught to love and respect your parent for where they are. They may be different from the way that we raised them, in our house. However, that's still your parent. You love them, you respect them for where they are, and just being able to be that example of love is, to me, a major reason that God brought us together, for people to be able to see that.
Yes.
See that, and I love the part about a blended family, because we are a blended family.
Yes, we are.
We are a blended family of 7.
Yeah, there's a lot of us, and we're still blending.
Yeah.
We are
Wait,
still
wait, wait,
blending.
wait, wait. No more blending after
No,
this
I'm
one.
not saying
Oh,
like
okay.
that. I'm just saying that we are, still learning how to
It's a
blend. Like,
constant work. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And I think in
I,
any relationship, it's a constant work. And I always talk, when I'm talking to my coaching clients, like parenting and being a wife, like those are two of the most selfless acts that we can do as women. And even for our own children, that's a very selfless act, because you're always concerned about that child's well-being. You'll sacrifice the things that you may want to do to make sure that child is well. But when you add in the element of a child that you didn't birth, and you can still sacrifice, you can still love,
yeah.
and you can still have a desire for that child to know Christ and to be well and to live well in the same way that you do your own. Like it's a constant growing and understanding yourself, and a constant I don't want to say sacrifice, but it's a constant just really selflessness, putting what you may want to the side and understanding that this is not about me. And the mindset of this is not about me is huge. Like it carries more weight than you realize, because then it allows God to work in you and through you to do what His will is in that person's life, and why He put them in your life and why they're in yours.
And one of the things I want to add to that a little bit is what make our blended family so great is that, all of our kids get along.
They do.
They do things together. They I mean they they help one another. That just makes it so much better when you don't have any, like you may hear some families where they going back and forth and they don't like the stepmom or the stepdad or all that kind of stuff. Not here. You know, we're very grateful that we all our kids they love one another, they care for one another. I believe my kids, my blood kids, I believe they love her more than they love me. And, and they just be all over it because they know she just do whatever she can for them, and she just helps them in any kind of way. And that's just the kind of love that we have for our kids. So,
and I believe that started too, honey, not to cut you off. I believe that, that just their thought and knowing that I would do anything for them. I believe that started with them seeing the transformation in their dad. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Them being able to really walk in relationship with him once we got married and he had that stability in his life. Whereas before he spent time with them and he made sure that he did the things to provide for them, but being able to walk in relationship with them was different. And then being able to see him transform into the man of God that he is today is different.
Yes.
He was a good dad to them, even when there were challenges with him and being allowed to be in their lives because of whatever with the mom, those types of things that can happen, but just seeing the transformation in his stability, in his his structure, and in his just in his godly character, it just made the relationship with them and him all the more better. And I would never stand in the way of that. I did whatever I could do to encourage that and make that better for them and for him. And so I believe the love started there because it wasn't this is the stepmom who's going to be ugly to us, or who's going to try to keep our dad from us, or who's going to treat her biological kid, or kids, because we have 2 children together, better than she would us. No, there was none of that, and so that's where the love started and was able to develop from there. And they don't love me more than they love him. They do love me a whole lot, but
as long as there's enough love to go around.
Yeah.
I just know when they have something, on their mind, or if they need something, I don't get the phone call. She gets it.
And that's the testament of wellness, though. Isn't it the testament of wellness?
That's
when
right.
A relationship, and we talk about that, it's okay if someone feels more comfortable going to one parent than the other. Now, I'm going to tell your dad what you said. Like, I'm telling your dad. Right.
That's right.
The comfortability is a testament of how much effort you all have put into the health of your relationship.
Right.
That's a blessing.
Yeah. And believe it or not, I love that. I love that they do call and talk to her and consult with her about whatever it is. That really makes my day when they do talk, when they do call her and talk to her. Because I know I'm gonna find out anyway.
Correct.
Wellness right there, that you allow them availability and the ability and the space to be able to talk to your wife as well.
Yeah.
So that's another testament to wellness. So we want to go to our question 3, and I just want to say this real quick. Our kids got along well too.
Yes.
That's
awesome.
They got along well. They was already like a family while we were dating.
Well, we met in church, and so our children were all in children's church together.
Yeah.
And so they just got along, and they played together, they worshiped together, like they were already kind of together. So
right. That's awesome. Yeah. That's
awesome. 3. Now, was leading with love a vision or a thought? Now, when I mean a vision or a thought is usually a moment. A vision is something you may have saw before or you've been seeing repeatedly, repetitiously in time. So was leading with love a vision or a thought? You feel?
So it started as a thought, because my thought was, iron sharpens iron. And so because we work, we go to church, we come home, we didn't like really interact a lot. And that was one of the things that God had been pressing up on my heart, is that we needed to connect with other couples. And then to see like some of the things that other couples have gone through and that we have gone through, because I mean, it's real life. You have different phases of life. You experience different things in your relationship, depending on, how much time you spend together, how much time you focus in on the things needed in those different phases of life, and so just understanding the need for the connection, emotionally, intimacy, physically, all of the things that we needed. And that those things, we knew that was something that was a need for other couples as well. So just being able to connect with other couples. And so thinking about those things, then the vision came like, oh, wait, okay, so, how can we share this with other couples? How can other couples be touched by these things? And so then the vision came for, okay, we could do this, this, and this. And the Lord had let me know the year before, like, okay, you're going to do a retreat. And so I was like, okay. And I thought, well, this retreat will be just like, a few couples for my birthday weekend. But then it grew as I started, writing down all the things that the Holy Spirit would like download. I was like, oh, wait, okay, so this is not just like a birthday dinner. Like, this is supposed to be shared with other people to, enhance their marriages, remind them of staying together, first of all, in covenant, and leading with love and not an iron fist, or not with ruling over, but how is it that we walk together and lead with purpose in our marriage, why God has us here as a couple? How do we do that? And that starts with knowing what we need and being willing to invest in the things that we need, like taking care of our bodies, like physical touch, and being willing to, touch each other, which is why we have the massage therapist, as well as just talking about the things that couples deal with, that, like they say, it's the little foxes that spoil the vine. A lot of times, if you stay in your own head, in your own space, then you already know that that can be a playground for negative thoughts. And if you never deal with those things, those small things, they can grow into resentment, which we know tears a relationship and a marriage apart. And so just having the space that, that couples can come and listen and talk and share and touch, and then enjoy each other, enjoy being there, so that they can take those things back home. And whatever they already do, what can you add to that? And then you have other couples that you could talk to, listen to, and share with. So the more that God was just showing me this, like the vision grew. And so now we're here, of course, with year 3 of Lead with Love Retreat. And and what's funny, I never like introduced it or said anything like it's a ministry. However, I know that everything we do and everywhere we are is ministry. So it's called Lead with Love Couples Retreat. However, as God allows us and implores us to show up, it's ministry. And so we're just grateful to be submitted unto God, and that people are blessed with what's brought forth. So
well,
That's amazing.
yeah. Now I was getting ready to say, I was, my wife, she had a vision, and she told me about her vision, and she said, I have this vision of doing this, and I said, okay, well, that's fine, and she said, but you gonna be in it too. I said, oh, okay, I'm in it too, huh? Okay, so you gonna just take me off the couch and you gonna put me in it. I said, okay. I said, well, I tell you what. I said, hey, I tell you what. One thing I do, I love about her is that she challenged me on a lot of things that I'm not used to doing. And you know what? And like I say, I said to myself, I said, you know what, I need to get out of my little circle here. And, you know, I may need to give this a try, you know, and see where, because I do like to help people. And I do like to help, and especially now that we're married and stuff like that, and we have a story to tell. I definitely would love to help people in their marriage on how to deal with, you know, just give them some information on how to, you know, maybe give them little nuggets here and there as far as how to deal with certain things, as far as being in a blended family and being married for 19 years, you know? So, you know, hey, it's a work in process all day, every day. So, you know,
all day, every day,
all day, every day. So, you know, nothing comes without work. Yeah. And so, you know, yeah, she definitely challenged me. I felt, you know, I was kind of reading between the lines that if I didn't do this made me in trouble. But jokingly, you know, I said, I think I need to do this. But you know, it's all good. I love it. I love the exposure, and I love to talk about it. Even when I'm at work, I just love to tell people about, you know, what we're doing, and it just makes me feel. I don't know. It just makes me feel strong, you know. So I just enjoy. I'm just glad that she do push me to certain limits, to where, you know, she wants to do things to help me grow too, not just her, but this to help us grow as a married couple, you know. So it's, you know.
I'm sorry. I was going to say that was one, when you were talking, that was one of the things I was going to say that we also gleaned from and learned from.
Right.
Not only the other speakers, but the other couples, like the attendees that share, you know, the things that they're dealing with or the things that they've overcome. And, you know, just it blesses us as well.
Yes, most definitely. Most definitely.
We are glad you guys have Leading with Love. We are honored to be a part of it. It is a beautiful thing. And the fact that you're a blended family is really a blessing, because, you know, in today's society, people don't want to be stepfathers anymore, and blended families, people don't trust. A lot of people are anti-family. So it's amazing that God would use a blended family, not just a regular family, but a blended family, because that requires the love of God.
Yeah,
All family requires the love of God, but a blended family, to be able to express that to people, that requires the love of God.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy, especially in these times.
Yes.
God's word don't change, but the times do.
Yes.
For sure.
That's
For
right. And you know,
sure.
I love that it started with a thought, Delnita's thought. When Daryl was asking that, writing this question when we were preparing for the show, I kept saying, well, what's the difference? So I'm so grateful that you expressed the difference. And I think it's also really inspirational to people that God can give you a thought that can lead to a vision. And so sometimes it doesn't have to be some epic dream. Oh, I went to sleep and I had this dream and God gave me this vision. No, you had a thought.
Right.
And the thought led to an entire movement. It led to what you were calling retreat, but now God's calling a ministry, because you're showing up and you're presenting God to people. I also love that God gave you the thought, Delnita, and your husband said, I think I need to get in with that.
Two is better than one.
That's right.
An amazing thing.
For sure.
That's right. That's right. And nowadays, you know, there's a lot of power struggle between men and women, wives and husbands. And for Champion to exemplify that maturity in that and say, you know what, I sense God in this. Like, I feel like this is something. My wife is on to something. And may all wives and husbands be able to have that sensitivity when their husband or their wife comes to them with a thought, that may they be sensitive to hear, like, there's something to this. I thought that was beautiful.
May they be able to express, we call it giving them each other their props. They're just due.
Yes.
May husbands and wives be able to give each other their just due. It's saying this because these times, A lot of husbands and wives are afraid to give each other their just due because they're worried about egos
Yeah.
or
Right.
one is going to use the power over each other. But y'all give each other y'all just dues.
It's a blessing.
But listen,
And
y'all, we got this last question.
Oh, go ahead. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I
I'm
was
sorry.
just going to say, and that element is at the heart of leading with love, not
Yeah.
with pride, not with, you're at this place and I'm at
Right,
this place. No, we're leading together in love and with love.
And I feel, and I do, and this is just how I feel. It's just like I want her to, I want my wife to be up here, and I just enjoy her mind and her greatness, and she may feel the same way about me. So we battle, we both battling each other as far as, oh man, I want you to be better than me, or something like that, So we just like selfless about who's encouraging each other as far as hey man, hey do this, you can do this,
Yeah.
Beautiful thing. That I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you all for being here. Now, you guys have already kind of answered the last question, but I'm still going to ask it because maybe you can say something that our listeners have not yet heard. And so my question is, what is the one thing that people can experience from leading with love? If they have never been to the retreat,
There you go.
and they may have been to other retreats,
What's one thing that they're going to get out of this or they're going to experience?
That's going to be second to none.
So the one thing that I feel like would be second to none is that moment to truly sit together and invest in your relationship. So one of the things is a couples massage. So we have a licensed massage therapist who guides the couples through a massage series that you learn to do on your spouse. And so that is one thing that's second to none, because you get to take that home with you and you can experience that intimate time together when you're at home. And so that's one thing I believe is second to none. The other thing, of course, which is the greater thing, is experiencing God in your relationship. Is knowing that God is with you in this covenant, and these are the things that He wants for you. He wants you to still be healthy enough and happy enough to be intimate and in close quarters with your spouse, and healthy enough to do the things that He's called you to do. And He wants you to do them together. And then also, the other piece is the financial piece. We have a financial life coach who has a movement herself. It's called Restart International. And she teaches financial literacy. She teaches investing and things like that. So just all of those things to me are just the key things that are second to none, because you get to sit and do those things together. Whereas with our normal day-to-day, we may not always take the time to really get detailed on those things. Well, this is going to create the space for us as couples to be able to do that. And then to be able to take away things that they can implement in that day-to-day in their lives to make their marriages better in whatever area they need some enhancement in.
And I know for me, one of the things is, and I'm gonna stress this, and probably till I go to heaven, put God first. I mean, I don't know what else to say. If in your marriage you need God in your marriage, period. That's how you get 19 years. That's how you get 30 years, 50 years, 60. He needs to be in your circle with you. No one else. That's how you survive.
Love that.
Pride and pride. Yes.
It needs to be in the circle. Listen, I just see a big circle and just boom, God is right there. I love that analogy. I love that visual. Well, we are so grateful to be coming down to Nashville in just a few weeks.
Yeah.
And we have the distinct honor and pleasure of being the keynotes on Saturday night. We're excited about that. So thank you all. And we haven't had a chance to say this publicly, but thank you for thinking of us and for choosing us to do that. We're really excited to share what God has shared with us. And now, listening to what you've been saying, we're excited to be in the room.
Thank you.
Listen, how can they find? Where do they go to register for Leading with Love? What's the
So-
discount they have?
So they can go to leadwithloveretreat.net to register. And we have extended the registration out to June 30th. It was until June 15th, where they could also enter the code to get a $75 off promotional rate for the retreat. And so they can go to leadwithloveretreat.net and enter code LOVE 2025 to receive that discount. And we will have a hard cutoff on June 30th. And so that we can make sure we have all things in place for our attendees. We want them to have the best time possible and receive all the goodies that we have in store for them. And so that will be a hard cutoff. But they can find us and register at leadwithloveretreat.net.
I'm all about the goodies. When you say goodies, I've been to conferences that have some really good surprises. So sign up and get the goodies, y'all. Get the goodies. You're going to want those when you go to your hotel room. You're going to want those when you come back home. Like,
Yes.
oh, I did get that. And you're looking in your bag. That makes a retreat and a conference so much sweeter. So make sure you go to leadwithloveretreat.net and sign up.
After that code until June 30th, LOVE love, and you get $75 off.
That's a big, generous discount too. That's generous.
That's a seed.
Yeah, it is.
That's a seed.
That's generous.
That's a seed off.
Yes.
We gave you a seed off. All right, guys. We thank y'all so much, guys. Thank you for the Smiths.
Yes.
Amazing. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for being honest. Thank you for being vulnerable, and thank you for your true story. And just thank y'all for everything y'all do.
Thank you for being the first couple that we interviewed for season 3.
Awesome.
This was a God thing too. This was God really utilizing, if I could just have a moment of honesty, really utilizing Lead with Love and this opportunity to help resurrect all things well in a new season.
Called The Love Story. This is the love story.
The love story season. God is really writing new chapters of Daryl and my love story. And because of that, we are able to host people and ask their love story and hear about the different things that they've gone through. So I really appreciate, Champion, you even in the beginning talking about, like, in your single days and single years, you were going through a lot.
Yeah.
And God saw, you felt seen and you felt heard by God when you met Delnita. Yeah. And that is a powerful love story. You know, sometimes people see the glory of the couple, but they don't know the story. You don't know who I was before. You don't know the struggles I had before. You don't know how I was suffering silently or in public. But then you see this couple and you think, oh man, they're married, they're doing good. Well, there were some things behind the scenes happening that led up to this glorious couple and 3 years into a retreat and all of that. So I'm grateful, and Daryl and I just really appreciate you all sharing with us tonight.
And my brother's Chocolate too.
And your team Chocolate.
And your team Chocolate. He covered y'all. Covered y'all. That's a covering.
We have some non-chocolate people.
Yeah, we just joking, y'all.
Hilarious.
Thank you, Champion. Thank you, Delnita. We'll see you in a few weeks. Okay.
Yes.
God bless you.
Thank you for having us.
Listen, y'all, thank you for being here on season 3, the first episode of season 3. This has been amazing. We're excited. There is so much more to come. We have some exciting couples coming on in the next few weeks. You all want to stay tuned and stay connected to what God is doing.
Thursdays.
Every Thursday, 7 p.m.
EST.
We love y'all. God bless y'all. Listen, share this.
And subscribe to our YouTube channel, Love Jones TV. That's Love Jones TV.
That's it. See you next week.
This is who we are. You know it. It's your time to blow it. Yeah. Stay devoted. And this is how we show it.